not the beast! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
Put the bunny back in the box.
Nick Cage was in Firebirds, and it was really bad, but at least it was not another Castle Period piece of crap. Boom, 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 Apache shoot across the moon, moon, moon. At least that's what they were supposed to do, but then it's daytime when they shoot, shoot, shoot. Whew. Welcome to the We Gauge Cage podcast, where we watch every Nicolas Cage movie ever made from worst to best according to your IMDb ratings in an effort to determine whether or not he is a good actor, because neither of us, quite frankly, are familiar enough with his work.
Quite frankly.
I am your host, Brian Ambrosius, and with me as always, the BFFF to my FLFRFF, oh shit! To my FLFRFSSB, Brock Kircher.
That's me!
I messed it up!
It wouldn't be a typical Brian intro if you didn't mess it up a little bit.
Oh, I did it all. I did good all the way to the end. And for those of you who don't know, BFF, FFL, FR, FS, SB stands for Best Fucking Friends Forever, for life, for real, for show, seriously bro. And you even made me a hat with that on it. It was much shorter at that time.
Yeah, we've added on to it over the years. Truly.
Yeah, we truly have. You know what's funny?
What's funny?
That's
this
not
podcast?
Funny. Oh, it's so funny, man. We will be... Hey, our movie is Firebirds, released in 1990 with Nick Cage and Tommy Lee Jones. While we still don't have any South American listeners, we will be traveling to South America for this movie.
Yeah, we sure will. So get those hashtags rolling, because we'll collect as many South American listeners as we can.
What hashtag would you like people to have?
Hashtag GO!
Was that a burp?
No, that was for soccer.
No,
Sorry.
Before that, you burped.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, you clicked something, but I didn't burp.
No, you burped. You have a belly full of pasta.
No, I don't have a belly full of pasta. It's chicken and broccoli.
Broccoli, just like my friend Broccoli.
Belly full of
what
dinner.
I was gonna say that's kind of funny, but it's not funny. It's more maybe interesting. Is our friend Becky Winowski texted me and you after she was listening to a few episodes, and she said she started crying because she thought about how neither of us grew up in Crandon, how we both came there at different times, and now we're best friends. Sure, we're immigrants. And she's like, and now you guys are best friends, and look at your relationship, and a lot of people can't have that friendship. And I was just like, you know what? That is true. We kind of came into Crandon, we tore it up, didn't we?
Yeah, we made it our own. We finished.
I moved to Crandon in second grade.
We finished 1 and 2 in our class, so we truly did divide and conquer. And,
salutatory and valedictorian is what you're referring to.
Yeah, and then we got out.
And then we got out.
Oh man!
But yeah, I moved to Crandon in second grade, and you were what, fifth?
Fifth.
And I didn't need you at first.
Excuse me.
I like had my friends. I was like, I didn't even know you came. We didn't really become friends for
because in fifth grade,
what?
you'd stay in the singing class the whole time, and you don't really. I mean, what you commingle on the playground, and
you pass notes to your girlfriend.
Yeah. So
are you still doing that in fifth grade? Yeah, you are, aren't you? Man,
yeah,
fifth grade.
But
you're 11.
You aren't switching up. You don't have a homeroom, and then you don't go from science class to math class to English. You're in one room the entire time. So I was in Mr. Polabicki's class, and you were in Mrs. May's?
Is it Mrs. May or Mr. May?
Mr. May? You're in Mr. May's? Sure.
Is Mr. May a fifth grade teacher? I don't know.
Back
but
then?
Anyway, when do we start really becoming friends? 7th
Okay,
grade.
here's I believe I can trace it back to a specific incident, and
Alright,
it was my birthday party. I want to say 6th grade, because we went and saw Pokemon the movie.
Yeah, with
And-
Jeremy.
With Jeremy
Jeremy was
Marvin.
there?
Shout out
Yep.
Jeremy Marvin. And Susie
Susie
and I
was
believe
there.
Jesse Votis and a couple other people. So I remember specifically, I think my mom asked me, like, double checked whether she wanted me to invite you because you were too hyper.
Aww.
And I said, yes, I want this kid at my birthday party to come and watch Pokemon the movie.
Your mom,
I think
your mom
we
kind of has
actually-
problems with me.
I think we were actually supposed to watch, like, Toy Story 2? Would it have been?
What?
I think we were supposed to watch Toy Story 2,
We
but
weren't.
it
We
sold
weren't supposed
out.
to watch Drive Me Crazy, were we? Or was that a whole different
That was
experience?
a field trip that we took in, like, 6th or 7th grade to watch Drive Me Crazy.
Dude, but your mom, so your grandma lived with you for a while too,
Yeah.
and your grandma is actually your mom loves me.
Shout out Grandma Lo.
She likes most things about me, but your grandma
heaven.
hated me, dude. Every time I would come over, she would tell me to shut up and
Well, yeah, she's...
and you would be yelling half the time. Half the time it was you, and I would get yelled at.
I mean, I think listeners of the podcast will truly determine which one of us gets a little excited and yells.
You know
it's
when,
not me.
dude. This is actually I got some sick transitions here.
I have the NPR. I have the NPR voice. Clearly.
You know when we would yell at each other is when we played video games.
Yes.
And
We play video games?
Yeah.
We play video games.
Speaking of video games, man, I got a bone to pick here.
What's up?
Have you seen these go-kart tracks where they're like, "Oh, look, it's a Mario Kart themed go-kart track."
Yes.
What? Why? Because it looks like a Mario Kart go-kart track? That's not why I want a Mario Kart go-kart track. I want a Mario Kart go-kart track if I could shoot shells at people and bananas and shit. We got virtual reality. We have augmented reality. Look at Pokemon Snap or whatever. Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go? Oh,
Why can't I wear a virtual reality
speaking
thing
of
with augmented
transitions,
reality and I can get a star and I can go from last and my scooter goes a little faster?
Yeah.
Why? That's Mario Kart, dude. Me and
They
you
should
need to
have
start this because I
augmented
don't want a
reality.
normal Mario Kart.
Okay.
I don't want a normal go-kart.
So-
We're all the same speed? That's not fun. I want my star. I want to go faster. I want a blue shell. I want to hit you. I want my red shells. I want to hurt you. You know?
So you want augmented reality where you can essentially throw things at
Yes.
people's carts and affect them.
That is Mario Kart. Not just, oh, look, my track looks like Peach's track. No, that's not
Interesting.
Mario Kart.
So speaking of Pokemon Go, I just recently downloaded Pokemon Go. I'd had it, I played a little bit, and then I just re-downloaded it because, one of my coworkers was asking me if I still played, because you can sync it up with your watch.
Nobody still plays.
I mean, some people do, I guess.
Nobody.
Children do. So I tried to re-download it. We'll see. I'll sync it up with my watch and I'll hatch some eggs, and that might be the extent of Pokemon Go for me.
That's your Pokemon Go story?
As far as I got it back. I want to be the
Good to
best
know.
there ever was, like no one was
Good to
before.
know. You know, you have to be good at it, though, because a Brock is in Pokemon.
Exactly. I have to be the horn dog Pokemon trainer that hits on all the nurses and cops. Speaking of Mario Kart and go-karting, you are a little asshole on the go-kart course, because the last time I went go-karting with you, you took me out on the first corner. And then I couldn't. You T-boned me on the first corner because I got the lead on you, and you sideswiped T-boned me, and my cart broke down, and I couldn't get up the next hill because my cart didn't have enough power, and so I had to basically Flintstones push it up and then I didn't even get to go again. Mm-hmm. They let me go by myself for a lap, which was a lot of fun, in another cart, and then they were like, "You don't get to go again," and I was like, "What?"
Hey,
it
dude,
wasn't my fault.
That's what you get. It is your fault. Don't be so slow. Don't be taking
wasn't
corners
slow. I
wide
was
so that your
clearly
best friend
faster
can
than
come
you.
and swipe you on the inside.
It's all a strategy. You got to take it wide so that you can cut him off. They
If you
gave me
say
a
so.
janky cart.
But I think we could get pretty rich if we do that, dude.
Okay.
All we gotta do is get some land. All we gotta do is get some go-karts. All we gotta do is get some virtual reality helmets. All we gotta do is get some insurance.
That's all we got to do?
That's all.
Okay. I'll get started on plans A and B. You go C and D. We'll meet up.
I just thought of it too. We're gonna have one track,
one track,
but it's gonna be the best track.
Rainbow Road.
Wario Stadium.
Okay. No cheating. See, Brian's a
you
cheater
get to hit
too.
a big jump.
This is what people don't know.
What?
And they have to
Why?
realize about you is that you are a cheater. You cheat any chance you can get. In
They
video
make
games,
the wall
in
low
what-
enough for you to jump over it.
Wario Stadium, you will take that little shortcut cheat.
Cuts 2/3 of the track
any chance
down.
you get.
Yeah, that's what it's there for.
It's not
If
there
they
to cheat.
if they didn't want you to jump over that wall, they would have built it going to the sky.
Cheaters never prosper.
You know, whatever, man. Speaking of video games, a lot of this movie
Hit me with
felt
that
like
expert
a video game.
transition. Oh,
Dude, my transitions are on point right now.
on fleek. On fire. Bird.
Don't say that.
Some might say.
There, that's better.
All
right,
okay.
Let's get into this shit.
No.
Or do you have something else?
No, Brian, as
Yes.
much as it pains me to say it, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever taken like a 23andMe or like any sort of like DNA test
No.
to find out about your heritage?
No. Because you know what?
Because I have a sneaky suspicion about you.
Yeah, what is it?
Because I have a feeling that you are that you got a lot of Swedish in you,
Why?
especially lately. I have a theory about
boy.
you. I think you're starting to suffer from some Stockholm syndrome, Brian.
Oh my god. No, actually, I'm pulling up the text right now with Becky and Amanda Flannery. Shout out to Amanda Flannery. She wanted one. I guess you just ask us for one and you get it. Because here is part of our conversation with them where Becky said she like cried.
Okay, this is good podcast material.
Let me
continue.
You said Brian and I are only going to get better as the movies get better. But we may start to disagree more because he's really starting to like Nick and I am holding strong. And I said, why are we even doing a podcast about if Nick Cage is a good actor if you're not going to be objective about it?
Brian.
Because you're not being objective about it because
Brian,
he was fine in Looking Glass.
It's not about being objective. Consider this a borderline intervention, Brian. I'm starting to worry about you, man. Because I think that you are starting to suffer from Stockholm syndrome. It's basically Stockholm syndrome, for the uninitiated out there, is when a kidnap victim starts to identify with their captors and starts to sympathize with their captors. So
It's Beauty and the Beast.
So yes. So I think that Brian has started to feel like almost imprisoned by Nick Cage, and he's starting to sympathize with him.
What was wrong with Nick Cage in Looking Glass?
Here's my argument. So you just said
We're going back to it, man. Oh my God.
Look at this objectively, and you use that word as like objective would mean you are looking at Nick Cage out of the scope of everybody else, but you're only looking at Nick Cage over the scope of Nick Cage.
I didn't give him a good. I said he was fine.
And
he was adequate.
Oh, but
Adequate is a better word than fine. He was adequate.
So my other question to you would be like, what other movies have you seen since we started this project? This process.
Game Night?
Game Night?
I didn't like it.
Okay.
To the point where...
Okay.
I don't know if this is what you were trying to make me say. To the point where
you went back.
we got home and Leah was like, I want to watch a good movie now.
Yep.
And I was kind of talking to her. I was like, yeah, Brock just hates Why Him for some reason.
Let's dig
She's
back.
like, you know what?
I don't hate Why Him.
Let's watch Why Him.
Okay.
So we bought Why Him and we watched that. after game night because we wanted a good movie.
Okay, here's the thing. So you've barely watched any other movies outside of Nick Cage. Myself, I've watched a ton of movies. This last weekend, I watched A Wrinkle in Time. I went and I saw Annihilation, and I saw Why Him, actually. I don't hate Why Him. That's what I realized. Like, you think that I hate Why Him. I don't hate Why Him. I just don't think that it's the greatest comedy that was released in, like, the last 2 years, let alone in the last, like, year.
Okay.
I don't hate it. By the way, I kind of had forgotten that Why Him is like a Christmas movie. Is that going to be like your Christmas tradition?
Isn't it?
It should be your Christmas tradition. Some people do Love Actually. Some people do like Die Hard. You should just always watch Why Him every Christmas.
We'll add it to the repertoire.
Can we watch Why Him together every Christmas?
Brock, excuse me.
So I'm just saying,
all this time to go watch movies.
I'm not trying to like shame you, like movie shame you, but I'm saying you are. Your worldview is being tainted by Nick Cage.
No.
He's trapping you. You're falling in. He's wrapping his tentacles around you, and he's drawing you in. It's exactly what he wants. You need to fight it, Brian.
We watched Bridesmaids. Pitch Perfect.
Okay.
These are on this weekend.
Okay.
She was watching Dumb and Dumber.
Okay. She being
Dude, look, we had a lot of Married at First Sight lately.
Okay.
A lot of Married at First Sight. There's like 6 seasons, man.
So when all you're getting outside of that is a Nick Cage crappy 4.6 or 4.7, like I'm just saying, how do you watch?
I'm more objective because of that.
How do you watch like a Cranston performance in Why Him and then a Nick Cage performance in Looking Glass and give Nick Cage the benefit of the doubt after that?
Cranston wasn't that good in Why Him.
I would have to argue that he's better than Nick Cage in Looking Glass.
You know who I don't like? I don't like Jason Bateman.
Oh?
He kind of annoys me, dude.
Wow.
I think that's part of the reason I didn't enjoy Game Night, because he's just like, his like attitude kind of bothers me.
Wow. After watching like Arrested Development?
He's great in Arrested Development, but he's not like that in his movies, man.
I mean, he kind of plays the same character in every single movie, too.
Yeah, he does. You just like Game Night because of Rachel McAdams.
I mean, I'm a sucker for some McAdams. I don't like it because of Rachel McAdams. But I thought she did great in a comedic role.
She did do well.
Good
she
for
was
her.
funny.
Yeah. It was I
like Winston, too.
Best role since Wedding Crashers. Yeah, Lamorne Morris.
Yeah.
He did great. Great Denzel impression.
I love me some Winston, dude.
Great Denzel impression.
Winston from New Girl.
Yeah. So, anyway, all I'm trying to say is that, like, you just reel it back, man. Just pull you back a little bit from that edge, because I feel you slipping, and I'm trying to extend my hand out, and you're slapping it away.
You already have it in your mind that Nick Cage is a bad actor. That's what you keep saying. It's like, I will go through this. I will never say he's a good actor.
Yes.
Even when we're watching Con Air,
yes.
and we're watching all these other the movies that he's been nominated for, Moonstruck and Leave Las Vegas. And you're like, I'm just going to say he's a bad actor.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, I'm going to watch the movie, and I'm going to see, is he a bad actor? And I admitted in Looking Glass, he was adequate. Now let's get on to Firebirds.
Now let's get on to Firebirds, because every time I think I'm just gonna like kind of buy in, I get hit with the movie like Firebirds, and I'm reminded Nick Cage is garbage.
All I can say is I'm glad we're out of Castle Period for at least 1 week, because the Castle Period movies just all feel the same, and it's Nick Cage being the same every time. That's kind of why. Oh nope, never mind. But 1990 Nick Cage is a lot different than Castle Period Nick Cage.
It's different, but it's different in a way that was very unexpected. So this film is very unexpected.
It's very boring.
So 1990, let's put it like on a timeline for people. So this is 1 year before Xanda Lee. This is
Brock,
3 years.
18 years ago. 28 years ago.
Yes, this is 3 years before Deadfall. So this is actually, I think, our earliest film to date.
Like, the Packers were winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah. You were 3 years old, man.
It's so long ago. Like, I can't believe 1990 is that long ago. When I was on my school bus in high school, so that was... Or not
like,
high school.
You were 3?
When I was on my school bus in middle school,
Do
so
tell.
this would have been like the late 90s, early 2000s, my bus driver would put on 1980s music, and they called it classics. That means like 1990 and 2000 music today is classics.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Do you know what I learned about 1990s music? If you have a
What?
drum, you can go anywhere. That's all this movie was a freaking drum line. And like
this movie?
a little
Well, it was
bit of
filmed in
smooth
89,
jazz.
so...
Yeah. It was do 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 do.
You know when the best music was whenever Nick Cage was talking to Billy.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was like, oh, so okay, we'll get into
Let's
it.
just jump in.
Guys,
So we start out,
okay,
we're welcome
we
to
say
2 minutes of
every
helicopters.
single week that there's going to be a quick episode because what can we have to talk about? I'll be real honest right at the top. I have no idea what this movie has to talk about.
Honestly, most of my notes are from one scene. Like I have a smaller book than you, but like 3/4 of a page
Yeah.
from one scene.
Yeah, so right at the top,
2 minutes of
I have
helicopters.
one question. Is this movie about helicopters and
It's
drums?
about Apaches.
Yeah. I mean, because all we get to watch for, like, again, 2 straight minutes is helicopters flying.
And it tells us we're in South America.
Yep.
We learn that Nick Cage's name is Jake Preston, and Tommy Lee Jones, who will come into this later, is Brad Little. I'll call him Tom and Nick.
Yep.
Our Nick Drill right off the bat, he's talking to
like a
the
council, like a war
CIA
council.
or
It's like a war
something. Yeah.
council.
I don't know what it is. But immediately, trope flashback. Because now he goes back to a time when he was flying with his buddy Dobbs, and Dobbs gets shot out of the air.
You got that
He
trope.
dies.
Good job. I actually missed
you didn't catch that one?
I didn't know if I counted it. He was getting, like,
there's, like-
debriefed on a mission that failed, and everybody
It's a
else but
flashback.
him died. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, so they're
Counts.
flying in their helicopters, and there's this crazy black helicopter that's like doing all these cool tricks and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the one that shot him down. So you're just like, holy shit, what's that helicopter?
Yeah. So that was, I think, a Cobra helicopter?
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're flying Apaches, and then there's this little Cobra helicopter that is flown by this best pilot I ever seen, according to Nick Cage. And this guy just takes all his guys out except for Nick. So one thing is, Nick is talking like a robot this entire movie. And like, so from Zandali and Deadfall Nick Cage, where he has clearly, by Deadfall, discovered cocaine and is just so hyped up on cocaine. On this one, I'm wondering, like, is this like when Nick Cage discovered marijuana, or like has he been just like horse tranquilizer? Because he's asleep for most of this movie. Like, his eyes are barely open. He can barely
We were talking about
get
video
his
games.
lines out
this
of his
movie is like
mouth.
one big video game. It's like a big Star Fox video game with like the way like you see him like honing in on people, and then they have a simulator. It feels like a big video game. So maybe he was just high playing video games, eating Cheetos,
Yeah, dude.
getting Cheeto fingers.
Every like piece of dialogue except for Tommy Lee Jones is delivered just straight ahead, no subtext. Like, it is, I'm saying what I mean, and I am saying exactly what is going to happen and what it has happened and what is happening on the screen, so that you know. Okay, thank you.
You said this was going to be
goodbye.
a short episode.
It's just
right.
like,
all right, guys. So they decide like this guy in the black helicopter. They're just like, we gotta take him out. He's a drug lord. Blah blah blah. Look at all this cocaine. And enter Tommy Lee Jones, who is going to teach them air combat maneuvers.
yes.
And Nick Cage, at some point, my notes are pretty shady on this, but this movie is shady. Nick Cage says, that sounds like a full-time job. And Tom says, boy, you're going to be as busy as a three-peckered goat.
Yeah, three-peckered goat.
That was when they were like explaining how the shooter works or something. That's what Nick Cage's job is. He's a shooter. I don't know.
So, he's a gunner. Yeah, shooter.
What I do know is Nick Cage chews gum. That's for sure. Strawberry gum.
Yeah. So there.
Brock, come on, man. He's already got. So for the people out there, he's already got his like hand over his face, like in despair, and we're only 5 minutes into the movie.
I just what do I have to talk about? Like this. So Tommy Lee Jones is training them. Nick is one of like the pilots, but he's already a good pilot, but he hasn't quite flown the Apaches. And Tommy Lee Jones is supposed to train him on the Apaches. Now Tommy Lee Jones is 40. We know that because he has his birthday party in this movie.
In which I thought he was much older. So I looked up his Wikipedia, because I love Wikipedia. He was 42 in this shot. And he looks older, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's Tommy Lee Jones. He's been like 50 forever.
Right?
So
he's still 50.
I mean,
he was like 50 when he was 30, and he's 50 now that he's 70.
Yeah.
He is 73.
I think he
like
does
that.
fine in this movie. But, like, it's a wasted effort.
The reason he's not fine is because of the script. Like, his lines are really bad.
Yeah, but, like, so basically his storyline is that, like, he wants to get out there and fly, but his commanding officer is like, no, you can't fly. You are, like, better served here training everybody. So that's that. Then
Which
we
is
get
kind of
introduced.
stupid. Like, wouldn't you want your best guy out there? It's like, you know, with a quarterback.
Can't risk him.
You want your best quarterback out there,
Nope.
but you want a good backup who can help your quarterback kind of see the schemes and stuff. But you don't want that guy out there because his arm is a noodle, right?
You
And
keep
he's
Brett
inaccurate.
Favre in the tanks to treat
Right?
Aaron Rodgers how to throw.
Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
You let Brett Favre hold the kicks, and you let Doug Peterson play. Mm-hmm. No, you don't. You put your best guy out there, and you have someone else train.
Yeah, Packer
Anyway.
fans. All of your like international listeners will know exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
This one's for you. You don't put Ronaldinho out there. You put
Are you making up names?
You put Wayne Rooney. Soccer names.
I
Football.
don't know why I have this note, but I said at one point that Nick Cage meets a lady named Billy Lee Guthrie, and I guess the reason I have it in there is because like their chemistry is weird. Like
Meets her?
they were ex.
Well, like
We're
we meet her.
They meet.
She comes up.
Meet cute.
She's
There's a meet cute.
So she's another pilot.
And they apparently have had a past because, like, the way they're talking, he's, like, trying to get her back. And she's like, Nick, you know it doesn't work out with us.
Okay, so Billy Lee Guthrie is played by Sean Young. You're not going to know who he is.
Everybody knows who Sean Young is.
Here's-
Sean Young. That's a hard... Sean Young.
Here's what Sean Young has done. Sean Young
Nothing.
was in Blade Runner.
Did you look this up?
No, I know who Sean Young is because I watched Blade Runner before I watched Blade Runner 2049. Sean Young was in Blade Runner. Sean Young is also Finkel and Einhorn in Ace Ventura:
That's her?
Pet Detective. Yes,
In my defense...
she basically disappeared from acting before like that movie came back. I think.
In my defense, this movie was filmed in 1990, and my computer screen showed it. I could not see what the hell was happening.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't know. We get to a point where Nick Cage goes into a simulator. And we've seen these simulators before. Like, you've seen them in other movies or whatever.
It's a flight simulator, but it's got 1990 graphics, everybody.
Yeah.
So...
And Nick Cage, Nick Cage has a bunch of good lines here. Did you write any down?
Did I write, do you want any gum? Do you want any gum? Do you want any strawberry gum? Do you want some strawberry gum? Do you want any strawberry gum? Hey, Cap, you want any strawberry gum? Hey, do you want any strawberry gum?
He's asking people who aren't even in the simulator with him.
10 different people if they want strawberry gum. Nobody does. Nobody actually wants any gum. What does that have to do with anything?
They zoom in on Nick Cage's face, and like you see him just chomping at the bit on this gum. But he says, like, before they get going, he's like, I have a pocket full of quarters. Let's play.
Yes.
And then he just starts yelling, I'm the greatest.
I am the greatest.
He says it 7 times.
Yes.
I'm the greatest. Boom. Kills a guy. I'm the greatest. Kills a guy. I'm the greatest. Kills a guy. 7 times. Did you get the...
But it's, I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. Like,
that's only 4.
Okay, I'm not gonna do it all 7. Then I just wrote down this line.
You got it all? I got it all.
Okay. I'm going to give it
I got
my
it all.
version. You give it your version. Ready?
All right. I rewound it like 3 times to get it all.
Woo! Cook 'em, clean 'em, bake 'em, broil 'em, bye-bye!
Oh my God, that's what you wrote down?
That's all I wrote down. Because, okay,
dude, it's way better than that.
Here's what to my credit, I attempted to put subtitles on, but in the very first, 3-minute scene, it was calling him Mr. President instead of Mr. Preston, which was confusing the shit out of me. And it was literally speaking gibberish. So, at one point, it must have said, hey, we need to go down to the quarters. And it said something like, we need to kick him in the quacko. And I was like, nope, that's not, nope. Good try.
No,
but,
here's the actual line, guys. He's in the simulator, and Tommy Lee Jones has just made it harder. He's trying to see what Nick Cage has got. So he's stepping up levels. And Nick Cage goes, shoot 'em, blast 'em, nab 'em, grab 'em, yank 'em, bake 'em, cook 'em, clean 'em, hose 'em, boil 'em, kick 'em, nab 'em, twist 'em, all gone. Bye-bye.
I was close.
No, you weren't.
I got,
6.
4. I got 6 of them.
But... And the whole while he's just shooting people. So he's egotistical. He's narcissistic. Whatever.
Hey guys, does this remind you of any movie from 4 years prior? Maybe an egotistical pilot is in a training program for the elite pilots, and they're up against an pretty unnamed, unspecified enemy who's also got a really good pilot out there.
Bottom bow and arrow.
Bottom bow and arrow. Close. So yes. Basically...
It's Top Gun.
Guys, as I described to Brian as he was watching this movie tonight, this movie feels like somebody in a fever dream got super high and then tried to explain the top 6 plot points of Top Gun to somebody else who was undergoing anesthesia, and then showed them a picture of a helicopter and said, you write a movie. And that's what we came up with. So that person undergoing anesthesia wakes up and says, I got a great idea for this movie. It's about this hotshot pilot. This movie could not want to be Top Gun any more than it's trying to be Top Gun. And failing so
a really, really
freaking hard at trying to, everything that people love about Top Gun, you will hate about this movie.
Everything? Okay, so after what we just described with the shoot 'em, blast 'em shit, the simulator,
yeah.
Nick Cage meets Billy in a laundromat.
Yeah,
and
where she's wearing
it's really weird.
A really gross, unflattering bra.
Yeah, and he's talking about, I like that skirt and shit.
Yeah.
Nick Cage is a tool, man.
I have seductive Nick Cage is one of the grossest Nick Cages out there.
Yeah. And at the end of their meeting, I didn't write anything down. He just tries to hit on her. But at the end of it, he says something like, you can't resist me. And then she's walking away, and he flashes her panties, and she's just no, you keep them.
Yeah, and he's like, you
he
forgot
stole her
something.
Panties.
And she's like, no, keep them. So okay, I had more chemistry with the string cheese that I ate earlier today than these two have in this entire movie. Can
I tell you something about
awful.
string cheese?
But the thing is, with Sean Young, the woman in this movie, she she's not a great actress herself. She is a friggin' robot. Spoiler alert for Blade Runner, but she's a freaking robot in every movie that she's in, and so she has no chemistry with anybody. She's awful.
So lately with string cheese, I've been thinking to myself as I've eaten it, I'm just I like cubes of cheese. So I'm just
you monster.
Instead of peeling it,
you monster.
I just bite it, and then I get little cubes of cheese. So I've been biting my string cheese lately, and it's honestly better.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Bye.
Quitting?
Bye. Yep.
All right. See ya. Okay, so now, so now we're at a bar, and Nick Cage sees a guy hitting on Billy. So Nick Cage goes up to the guy and is like, hey, you're going to mess with my fiance or whatever. And she's just kind of like, Nick, stop. And the guy's like, hey, buddy, get out of here. Nick Cage, we pretty much get a high fucking yah here. Because the guy's like, oh, what, do you want to fight? So Nick Cage kind of gives him one little punch just to, like, kind of warn him. And then Nick Cage just knocks him out.
Guys,
one punch.
I'm back.
High fucking yah.
You guys, I'm back, and no. It takes him 2 punches. I didn't
No, the
let
first
you
one was
count
a
it.
warning. First one was a warning.
No.
And then the guy kind of attacked me.
No.
Like, Nick was just like,
No.
hey, back
No.
up. Here's my warning
He gives
punch.
him
And the
a
guy like,
jab
comes at him.
cross.
So, no,
As
it was a high fucking
member
yah.
of a kickboxing gym, that was a full 1-2 jab cross.
So now, like,
Doesn't count.
Billy's kind of like runs away from it. She's like, you're a monster. Like, this is why we can't be together.
He's a monster.
And,
You're a monster, Mr. Biting string cheeses.
and Billy says something like, I want you to stop this. And Nick Cage just looks at her and raises his eyebrows like 4 times.
Yeah, he does.
Like, what is he doing?
Yeah, basically she says, I'm not a piece of meat. So here's the thing. She is a voice for women empowerment, and good for her. Nick, in one ear out the other, doesn't give a shit anything she says.
Man. It's the late 80s, man. Early 90s.
So she says, I'm not a piece of meat to be fought over. Good for her. Nick doesn't care.
All right.
So
This next scene, I wrote down all of the lines. I rewound it again several times, getting down all the lines. So they're doing simulations, but this time they're actually in the Apaches. And Nick Cage gets to be in an Apache with Billy. Or, like, in a group with Billy, I guess?
Yes.
And the whole frickin' scene is just sexual innuendos. Billy says something about her video display. Nick, I've got a display of your tail that is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Later.
If I had bothered to write any of these down, I would, play one of the parts and have you play the other one. I just want to
All right, what?
get a couple out of the way before this scene. At the bar.
Hi, fucking yeah.
So they all, no.
Yep.
They all say their lines like they're reading directly off a page. And he's so freaking rapey and problematic with how he talks to her.
Yes.
And at one point, though, like she says, we don't go out anymore, remember? And he says, that's about to change. And then she says, no, like, this is why it didn't work. You want me to cook and clean, and that's not who I am. I'm a pilot. And he says, well, my mom cooked and cleaned. It's tradition. And it's like, again, he's a dick. But, like, she's clearly not into it, and he just doesn't hear anything that she's saying. Now, then we get... So, like, she ends it that night, and then we get treated to this next day where he's too busy being a retarded little horn dog to, like, focus on flying, to the point where even, like, his commanding officer says, hey, Preston, get your brain out of your pants and, like, fly. And so then they get up into the air, and now her attitude completely shifts, and she's, like, playing along.
Yep, little cat
So,
mode. So I'm gonna run through them.
That's
here.
where these lines come in.
I'm gonna run through them here. So again, Billy, something about a video display. Nick, I've got a display of your tail that is just mind-boggling. Billy, something about nailing a target. Nick, I'd love to nail it. Billy, oh no, Nick Cage says, watch this. Beaker? What's that?
Breaker. The other guy's name is Breaker.
Watch this, Breaker. And then he like kind of flies off, and Billy says, where are you? And Nick, I remember you like me on top.
Like me on top.
Because he's over the top of her. Billy.
Billy has a good comeback, though.
Billy.
At one point.
You've still got your brains in your cockpit. Nick,
oh, yeah.
That's because it's easier to fly that way, honey.
Oh, yeah. By the
Loaded
way, I'll provide
and ready to fire.
I'll provide
Come
the
on, I'll
background
get through
music.
this line.
I'll provide the background music.
God damn it. So, Billy, you've got your brains in your cockpit. Nick, that's because it's easier to fly that way, honey. Loaded and ready to fire. Billy, Jake, we've both been there before when those guns just wouldn't go off. And then, Nick, don't worry about that, baby. Billy, Jake, let's get a hold of ourselves. Nick, I've got a hold of myself. That's it. All right, that's it.
Oh,
But this is all right. This
Okay.
is, you were talking about him being rapey the scene before. It was after this scene where I was just like, I'm marking this down for abuse of women and children.
Flying. Yeah. Okay. There you go. I'll count that one.
Yeah. Because
Flying.
he is abusing this woman.
How many innuendos can you get into a flying scene, guys?
It was 2 minutes long.
You know, the
Guys,
challenge.
I pretty much just read you the script.
The gauntlet was thrown, and challenge accepted and challenge completed. Are you done?
Yeah, that was. I marked timestamped it. It was 2 minutes, and they crammed all of those innuendos into that 2 minute scene.
Yeah. With a backdrop of some saxophone, like sexy time and drums. While they're flying, guys.
Yes.
Why are they flying? We don't know. Like
That's a simulation or whatever. They have like fake bullets or something, I guess.
I don't. They're training.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So then thank God. Because we get to the next scene of this movie called The Box. Or The Bag, excuse me.
You guys
No.
remember...
Okay, so first there's a boxing scene where Tommy Lee Jones is just working
That's
out.
actually later, isn't it? But whatever.
No, it's next, I think. Boxing scene against
I put
Tommy
Nick
Lee
and
Jones.
Tommy box, but I was
Yeah.
thinking of The Box. But yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
they're boxing here.
The bag, you mean.
Yeah.
So
Bag,
there's a
yeah.
boxing scene with Tommy Lee where he's just like trying to work out and trying to get like again, keep sharp. And
He's 40, guys. He's not keeping up with the younger guys.
And Nick comes
like,
in.
We saw a scene of them jogging, and he was falling behind and stuff.
Yeah, and Nick comes in and he like Tommy Lee's asking like, "Hey, do you want to box? Do you want to spar? Do you want to spar?" And everybody's saying no. And then Tommy Lee's trying to give Nick some pointers, including like, "Hey, you're keeping your hand down." And Nick says, "Well, fine." And then they start like sparring, and Nick beats the shit out of him.
Yes, he does.
And like legitimately beats the shit out of him to the point where like Tommy
like,
Lee's
punches
wife,
him.
who is a sweetheart.
He punches Tommy Lee Jones in the face, and they're not wearing the like padding that boxers wear when they're sparring each other. He just freaking hits him like 3 times in the face.
Yeah. And now, like, Nick Cage doesn't seem like that much of a badass, but we've already seen what he did in a bar fight the night before or whatever, so I guess, sure. And Tommy Lee literally said that he was like a Golden Gloves boxer, like in Arizona or something, so sure. Nick's a superhero.
Intramural, Brock. Did you not catch that? That it was intramural?
No, I didn't catch that at all.
Because he like added it, like he mumbled it intramural.
But he should have been like held his own, I guess. He's Tommy Lee.
He's 40, and Nick Cage is like in his prime. By the way, guys, we haven't talked about this, but Nick Cage actually kind of looks good. I thought he was kind of a handsome little boy.
I mean, okay.
What? What was wrong with him now? Why didn't you think he was fine? What was wrong with him? You are so biased.
I'm unattracted.
Why are we doing this podcast?
I am
this might as well be
unattracted.
called Brian Gage's Cage. Brock already hates Cage.
Cage haters.
No, that's you. Brock the Cage hater, Brian Gage's Cage. I try to be
I'm
objective.
cagey.
I'm looking at this with fresh virgin eyes and trying to take it in.
Objectively, as a virgin, I am unattracted to Nicolas Cage. I am sorry.
Anyway, you were talking about Tommy Lee Jones's wife.
But, I mean, he looks better than Johnny Collins, Nick Cage, and he looks a heck of a lot better than Deadfall Nick Cage. So,
Just barely.
I'm pretty sure if you put him in any FKM lineup, that people would F him every time. So, all right. So that happens, and then we get into the bag. So the bag
Hold on. I gotta throw out one thing here. Tommy Lee Jones wakes up and his wife, like, he's hunched over.
His wife is a sweetheart.
His wife is like, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" And like, she's trying to help him or whatever. And Tommy goes, "You think I got my dick shot off?" And she's like, "Oh, I better check." So then she like goes and they pull open his pants, and Tommy Lee Jones raises his eyebrows like 4 or 5 times. Is this a cartoon?
I mean,
what is this?
No, it's a video game.
Oh God, this is the second video game movie we've had, right?
Pretty much, just like Outcast.
Yep.
With like the 1-by-1 fighting. Okay, so we're in.
Hold on, before we get to this, guys, remember what I said?
Craveny.
Remember in my song when I said that Apaches shoot across the moon, moon, moon? This is why. Because I thought they were gonna. This is night vision, isn't it? They're practicing night vision.
Okay, Brian. Here's the thing. My version that I watched was so crappy that like half the time I wasn't even watching because like I couldn't tell what was going on screen. It was like, so the version that I watched was like the aspect ratio was all wrong, so it was probably zoomed in like 80%.
Because then YouTube can't catch it.
And yeah, and then it was also flipped backwards. So I learned this because the title comes up and it's all backwards script. So I was like, okay, it's fine if like everything's just happening in the opposite direction, right? But like it was also just like such a shiesty quality that I like stuff was happening, especially during the night vision scene where it just looked like blurs. And I was like, okay, question. So there's a blur, there's another blur.
Is it illegal to watch movies off YouTube if they're on there? Like, we watched The Humanity Bureau. That shit got taken down. It must have only been on there for a few weeks, and, like, we caught it. Like, is it illegal that we watched it on YouTube?
I don't know, because I've never watched an illegal version of any movie. Let that stand on the record. Let that stand on the record. I have never watched an illegal version of any movie, including Nicolas Cage movies. I've always watched legal copies.
Can we get, like, sued if we watch a YouTube video of one of his movies? Like, I don't think so.
Prove it, baby.
Yeah, prove it, baby. Okay, but guys, so he's in a bag.
Can we go to the bag yet?
They black
Wait, just a second.
The Apache.
So we go to the bag. So the bag is the final training scenario before they can, like, pass this course and become super cool assassin pilots.
I've seen your bag before.
Yeah, you have.
More than I want to count.
Okay. Are you... I asked if you were done with the innuendos, Brian. You got any more in your system?
I probably do.
Okay, I hope so. That's what makes magic, baby. All right, so basically they have to fly during night. That is the bag. They have to fly at night. All right, so basically this is how we find out that Nick Cage is eye dominant, and we learn what eye dominance is. So Nick Cage is right-handed, but guess what, guys? His left eye is dominant. Okay.
So yeah, when he's doing this night vision, his one eye is supposed to be looking at a screen in his Apache, and his other eye is looking in a periscope type thing.
Yeah.
And
that's
his periscope.
That's all you need to know.
His periscope eye is his right eye, and he can't focus.
But that's all you need to know is that his left eye is dominant. He can't focus. But do you know who else is left eye dominant? Tommy Lee Jones. And so this whole movie has been about Tommy Lee Jones eventually training his replacement. Just like Men in Black. I put in my
notes here, Brock. I put Nick sucks at night vision. I bet he saves the day with it. And then it never comes back.
No.
And that was what my song was about, too. Like, Apache shoot across the moon. At least that's what they're supposed to do. It's like, I thought we were setting this up so that he could have an epic night vision battle. And literally the only reason that he needs this night vision is so that he can be approved to go to war, I guess?
You know the movie Star Wars? Like how Luke trains, like, you know, blindfolded so that he can just trust his senses, and then that eventually, like, comes back to him when... No? Yeah? Yeah, no, this isn't that movie. No.
While Nick Cage is trying to get Tommy Lee Jones to help him, he, like, hunts him down in a supermarket, and Tommy Lee Jones has this baby, like, sitting in a cart.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones has a bunch of kids, too.
And Nick Cage, and he tells, like, Nick Cage, he's like, hey, feed my baby, the bottle's right there. And Nick Cage, like, does not know how to deal with kids. He did not know how to put this bottle in the baby's mouth. Like, he's, like, missing the mouth.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of the movie that shall not be named.
Dog Eat Dog.
Oh, fuck that movie. But yes.
But I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
he doesn't know how to deal with kids.
No. Does Nick have kids?
I don't know. Did you know he was married to Jamie Lee Presley? Or Jamie Presley? Who was he married to?
No.
He was married to a Presley, I think.
So I did not know.
We're gonna look this up.
I know that he was married, but is no.
We're gonna look this up.
I don't know. There's
Lisa Marie Presley. That's who it is.
Lisa
and
Marie.
Patricia Arquette. So Patricia Arquette from 95 to 01. Lisa Marie Presley from 02 to 04. And now he is divorced again. Oh, he was with his last one for 12 years. Oh, he has 2 children.
Probably didn't know how to take care of them.
You know what else I found out about a Coppola from one of my other
Nanny
podcasts?
had 2 children?
from one of my other podcasts I listened to. They were talking about Nick Cage very briefly. Or no, not Nick Cage. They were just talking about the movie Jack. You know, with Robin Williams, Jennifer Lopez.
Yes.
Did you know that's a Francis Ford Coppola?
I do know.
He directed that movie.
Yeah, Francis gets around. I mean, why not?
No, you look at his repertoire. Apparently that's the word of the day.
Ouvroir?
His ouvroir. His beige cremel.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Is beige cremel? I'm gonna start using it like it's a thing.
His Bouge Blanc. What is that? What am I trying to think of? A Mouge Blanc?
His amuse bouche?
His Amuse Bouche.
You know what an amuse bouche is?
No.
Amuse bouche is like an appetizer. But, yeah. Okay.
But you look through Francis Ford Coppola's, and Jack sticks out like an adult in a 2-year-old or second grade class.
Yes.
Falling in love with his teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Anyway, Tommy Lee Jones agrees to help Nick Cage, and he literally puts underwear on Nick Cage's head to cover up his one bad eye.
Why
Or his
underwear,
left
guys? Why not?
He could have put anything.
Yeah.
But you know why? Because then Tommy Lee Jones sees his superiors, and they're like, are those underwear on his head?
And it's funny.
But then he has a periscope from his right eye, and now he has to drive a Hummer or whatever, and he succeeds. So now he's fixed.
Yeah, and at one point, I just got the one line that says, I just lost a little control there, but now everything's cool.
This is how he talks. It's like Eddie King if Eddie King never found drugs.
I actually have that. They put the panties on his head. You know why it was panties? Because Nick has a pee fetish. This either started his pee fetish or just plays into his pee fetish, but he's got that pee-pee fetish. So
Nick Cage goes
they're
on a
just
date
enabling him.
Nick Cage goes on a date with Billy. They are looking at the beautiful Arizona landscape, and Billy says, God, it's beautiful. And Nick Cage, this is a classic thing that I do, he goes, you're beautiful. And actually, I would like to tell a story about that. Look at these segues, man! Oh my god!
Oh, would you like to tell this story?
I was in Mexico with the Keepers. Keepers, you know, we've talked about them. John Keepers and his two brothers, and me and my brothers, like, our whole family was down there. And I was at a big period where, like, someone would be like, oh my god, that water is so blue. And I'd be like, you're blue.
And do you know why you were at that period?
Because of you?
Because you were ripping it off of me. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not trying to, like, take credit, but I'm just saying.
No,
that was
I don't
something
know
that
why.
I did a lot. And I think, like, you basically, like heard me doing it enough to where you kind of got it, like, ingrained in your brain. And I know that I used to do it kind of instinctively. And I don't remember where I got it from, but, like, yeah, if somebody was like, well, this is stupid. You're stupid. Or, like, this is, like, pointless. You're pointless. So,
or it could be something silly.
Yeah.
They'd be like, this blanket is so fluffy. And I'd be like, you're fluffy.
Okay.
So we meet these girls
at
the bar. And I don't even know how long we were talking to them. Not long.
But you're, what, 15?
No, this was in college. So I was like 20.
Okay, 20 years old.
But we're all like drinking, and we're young though. We can drink legally here, so we are getting pretty drunk. And these girls like that we're talking to orders a drink, and she just goes like, "Ooh, that drink is heavy," and I go, "You're heavy." And the problem, Brock, she was kind of heavy.
She was heavy. Brian's told this story to me before.
Kind of like a dick.
So I said,
and then I just had to apologize, and I gave the whole spiel. I was just like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry." Heavy. Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." I was like, I just say that. I was like, you could tell me that it's dark outside, and I'd be like, "Oh no, I'm not going to use that one." But
yeah,
you're dark outside.
This would be a little bit of a problematic habit.
It does, but anyway, I just wanted to share that story, and I felt bad. If that girl is listening, I'm sorry. You were a little heavy, but it's not like you were fine. You looked nice.
The only line that I have is when Billy Lee Guthrie says, when, like, Nick's trying to basically, like, bang her on the dinner table, I guess, and then she says, patience, anticipation, food. And Emily turns to me and goes, those are, like, the 3 tenets of my life. And I was just like, okay, good.
I asked Leah if she wanted to watch this one. She didn't.
But, then there's a sex scene.
Another pretty. Maybe it was intense. I couldn't tell if we could see boobs or not because my picture was bad.
Dude, I didn't even like want to look. Like, no, there was just like the longest like slow kiss. But I don't even think they like showed them touching each other. Truly, I don't.
What? You're talking about this being kind of long and slow.
But
you know what?
At one point, the song that plays, I'm listening and I'm trying to even like pay attention to the lyrics, and I was like, who is this? And then I hear like the words like, do you remember? Or something, and I'm like, that sounds like freaking Phil Collins. And I was like, how about this is like Phil Collins' Do You Remember? And then I looked at the IMDb, and the very first song that it said on the soundtrack, Do You Remember? Phil Collins. Nice. And I was like, okay, Phil, I'm wondering like how many sex scenes Phil Collins has personally like scored the music to.
Nice. But you were talking about this being like a long, slow sex scene. We didn't even talk about when Nick Cage was fighting the guy in the bar and Tommy Lee Jones. Again, super slow fight scenes. Like,
yes.
Very choreographed and very like...
A punch.
Yeah.
A punch two. A dodge. A kick.
A step to the left.
Yes.
A dodge backwards.
Yeah. No, again, his fight choreography is terrible. Which is why, like, if he wanted to be Superman, I don't understand how that would have ever worked.
Well, that's why it didn't happen.
Probably.
Okay. The Apache test is underway, and basically what I put down is that the helicopter scenes are too close. Even with my shitty like version of it on YouTube, like you can't see what's happening. They're like, oh, we're gonna back out, and then they just show the helicopter so close that you can't tell like really what direction it's going in.
I'm sorry, I have absolutely no notes at all between the sex scene and like the explosions.
Well, remember Nick Cage has to get licensed or whatever, and he has to like fight Tommy Lee Jones out there in another simulation.
Yeah. They like
and like
battle.
Tommy Lee Jones like ducks down, but that's what I'm saying. They're like Tommy Lee Jones is like, here, we'll hide from them.
Tommy Lee,
you can't tell what's going on.
Yeah, I have Tommy Lee.
The cinematography is shitty.
Yeah, Tommy Lee takes down Nick right before the big battle. Yeah, no, all of these like actual like battle scenes or like flight scenes, are chopped together like a music video, so that it's just like pop, 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 shot,
cut inside the cockpit, and they'll get a shot of the helicopter.
And it's like,
you can't tell what's happening.
Ever. You don't know where anything is spatially related. Like, there's no wide
That's
shots.
what I'm saying. That's my problem.
Okay.
Because then Tommy Lee Jones is like, oh, good job, kid. And I'm like, what did Nick Cage do? Like, I can't... Yeah. Apparently, somehow Nick Cage got behind them or something, or on top. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, again, everything that Top Gun, like, kind of does right, this movie doesn't do at all.
Now they go to attack. They go to attack, and Billy gets to go on the mission, and Nick Cage does not like this. And she's like, what? Just because I'm a woman? You think I can't go into battle? And he yells at her, why is it so hard for you to understand that I just don't want you to get hurt?
That was good.
He yells it
beautiful.
So loud.
Yes. And then she says something like... about
Leah's
like
trying to sleep. I feel bad about that now.
Being like my friend, and then he says my friend, and then he like kick dances. He gets mad and he's like my friend, and then he like kick dances like his frustration out on the tarmac. So at one point though, I do have that Nick writes, "Don't you ever want me to win?" And Sean says, "No," and I was like, honestly, same, like
yeah.
Yeah, clearly. I never want Nick to win.
We're about 1 hour into this 87-minute movie, and I was so bored at this point that I actually switched my playback to 1.25 just to get it done.
Yeah, no, I was very bored. Okay, so then I was like not paying attention. I wasn't like even really watching the screen. But then Nick and Tommy Lee are talking, and then all of a sudden, explosions!
Right
before
like,
that. Blah, 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 bullshit, explosions!
No, Tommy Lee Jones like is congratulating Nick or whatever, and Tommy Lee Jones goes, this is going to be a happy day. And then explosions immediately after.
So basically like the cartel has found where they are and has attacked them first. So they all get into planes, and now it's just a dogfight in the air against the cartel Cobra helicopter and 2 planes, from what I can gather.
Like what are they called? Like F-150s?
Sure. No, like more like F-16s, but yeah.
Yeah, F-16s, and they're like super aerial and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of them gets Billy in their sights, and Nick Cage just says like, "You're not touching her, you filthy piece of shit."
Yeah.
So like, that's the most cussing we get from him. We don't get any F-bombs.
So this Cobra cartel guy is like named Staller, which I like only picked up on like right at the end, I think, because it kept saying that they saw Staller, and then I was like, oh, that's his name. Then they have planes. Okay, here's the thing. I have a question. You might not have the answer.
Let's see it.
Who is Rattler? Is Tommy Lee Jones Rattler?
I think they got the name wrong. I think it was supposed to be Breaker.
Okay, no, I think like technically Tommy Lee Jones has like a call sign of Rattler, but they never
do
told
say
us.
Rattler at one point, and I didn't know. Yeah, so I was like, oh, I must have got that wrong. It must have been Breaker.
No, I think one of them.
Because do you have the mom line? Is that why you're bringing this up?
No, is there one guy who was like, okay, what was the name of? Okay, so here's the thing: Tommy Lee Jones and another guy are flying in one helicopter. Billy's flying her own helicopter, and Nick Cage and Breaker are in another one, right?
Yeah,
are in a third. So is the guy who's flying Tommy Lee Jones's helicopter Rattler?
I'm not even seeing a Rattler on IMDb. I'm telling you, I think it was a continuity error.
I don't freaking know. They just kept saying Rattler, 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 and I was like, I don't know who Rattler is.
I didn't know if they were saying Rattler or Breaker. Anyway, at one point, Nick Cage says to Rattler or Breaker, I guess, and he goes, "How's it going, Kelvin?" And the other guy goes, "Jake, only my mother calls me Kelvin." Nick Cage, "I am your mother now, Kelvin."
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm your mother now, Kelvin. But
that's more how he said, "I'm your mother now, Kelvin." He's so calm, and it's just like, what are you talking about, Nick Cage? What is that?
At this point, like, it's cutting so fast in between, like, each shot that, like, I started to get, like, a little motion sick, almost, like, to the point where, like, I just basically didn't feel like watching it.
No, and they eventually kill Stryker or whatever his name is.
They kill Staller, the bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so they kill the plane, but then Tommy Lee's pilot gets shot down, so he crashes, but Tommy Lee's in the back, like, manning the guns. Billy lands and checks on him, and then he has her, like, get a gun out to, like, shoot down the plane.
What I liked about that scene, though, is Tommy Lee's, like, co-pilot or whatever got shot right in the eye, and Billy still, like, comes up and tries to check his, like, pulse, and it's like, dude, he dead.
Like, half his head's gone, but...
Yeah, he's dead.
Okay.
But anyway, she grabs, like, this hand... Like, he keeps calling a cigar box and, like, a flashlight.
Tommy Lee's legs are both broken. So he can't move, so he's stuck in his helicopter. Meanwhile, like, the plane's coming back to do, like, little, like, strafing runs with the guns. But Billy Lee grabs a like, missile and basically shoots it down. Meanwhile, Nick is tussling with the Cobra, and Nick pulls, like, the Tommy Lee maneuver, I'm guessing, where, like, he hides behind the cliff.
I guess.
But, like, again,
we couldn't see... You don't know what's happening.
We couldn't see any of these fight scenes, like, very well, because everything's, like, a kind of muted shade of brown, too. And, so, like, he leads the plane, and then he, like, dives below a canyon, and the other helicopter, overshoots the canyon, and then he pops up behind him and shoots him down. Okay, dead.
Yes.
And he says something when he blows him up.
I don't know. I didn't write anything down.
Oh, there was a big scene where before Billy and Nick were going to dinner, and she wanted to drive, and he was being, like, a real dick about it. So then he goes into a medvac and finds Billy Lee and Tommy Lee. And there's a scene at the end there. It's, "I'll drive. No, I'll drive. It's my helicopter. I drive. No, I'll drive. I drive. No, I'm gonna drive. I drive." Like,
okay, we get it.
It's just like, come on, man.
The movie ends, and at this point, I wrote down, I was like, why did Nick Cage need to learn the bag? The whole thing was learning about night vision. I wrote in my notes like, oh, this is going to come back. This is always going to win. Nope. Didn't freaking matter. Nope. And then I put that it feels like one big video game like Star Fox.
No, it was so like rushed. Like that battle was so rushed that it was pretty much like, hey guys, we're running out of money on this film. Like, can we just like have this scene?
Freaking $25 million budget.
Okay, so the credits start rolling, right? And at first, like...
Oh my god, we're going to talk about the credits?
No, I just want to point one thing out. There were 6 people in the credits. And I was like, oh, fair enough. Like, I only cared enough to pay attention to, like, 6 people. Then it started, like, coming more names in, like, groups of 6. And I was like, I have no idea who anybody else outside of those top 6 were. Because I didn't catch anybody's name. Like, nobody was ever called by their name.
Except Rattler, but we don't know who Rattler is.
And, like... Yeah, and so I was like, why did they even bother giving me any other names outside of the top 6 people? Like...
Alright, let's do the Pete Cage. I'm going to do mine first. Cause
you want to do tropes?
What?
Tropes.
I thought we started with Pete Cage usually.
Tropes.
That doesn't matter. We can do tropes. There's only like 5 of them.
Okay.
If you count the high fucking yacht. It happened.
It doesn't count. He did not... It
did too. The first one was a warning punch. It was like a high ya.
No,
and then he's like,
but he
here comes the high
he doesn't,
fucking
like,
ya.
Give him like he doesn't like throw his hand up and like karate chop him down.
Out. You saw later with Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones took multiple punches. This guy took like a little guy, and then it was one punch and he was done.
Jabbed
on the ground,
crossed him.
I beg to differ.
It's not the same.
Because what happened was
he can knock somebody out. He knocks plenty of people out in his other movies.
He punched the guy, and the guy like stumbled backwards.
Difference.
He tried to take a couple swings at Nick Cage, so it's not just a 1-2 thing. It was a warning punch. The guy like comes at him a little bit. There's several seconds in there, and then Nick Cage lays the high fucking yacht.
There's a difference between a high effing yacht and
give it another half. It's a half pointer.
Out, though, like
it's a half pointer.
In like Ghost Rider, we don't give him any high effing yachts because he doesn't like.
Oh, he uses his chain or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't count.
We're giving it a half point. If we gave in.
All right.
One movie, Dying of the Light,
because he
did a half point for pills.
Water. All right.
Yeah. We got flashbacks right at the start. We got mumbling. There were several times. Even with the like Arabic subtitles I had no idea what was being said.
Does wear aviators. I just want to mention it.
Yeah.
Bring him back. He does wear classic aviators in this one because he's a pilot. Of course he does. All right.
He yells and repeats. I told you earlier, I'm giving him abuse of women and children. He abused Billy verbally.
Yeah. I think he does call somebody an opposite sex or emasculate them. He emasculates Breaker at the end.
Oh, true. Well, he kind of emasculates himself.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say this.
I don't
Both
think
of us had
does, like,
shitty quality.
A hand wiggle.
Both of us had shitty quality. I bet there was taco meat at some point.
There was, actually. I actually have that written down. He has taco meat.
Did you?
Emily found it, or like called it out specifically when he was in his jumpsuit.
Not
he
a
does
single
not
fuck.
Say fuck, and he does not raw dog any pills, clearly.
Or drugs. He drinks a few beers. No maniacal laughing.
And he doesn't...
How did that happen?
And he doesn't die. All right.
How did he not laugh? This is like very few films he has not laughed in.
Okay, Brian. Courtesy is all yours. What is your cagiest moment? I went first last time.
Yep.
You're going to take it off the table?
You usually go first, actually. I'm going with that whole 2-minute scene with all those innuendos.
Okay, because you really want to just feed that clip in.
I'm going to try to throw as many as possible in there. It probably sounds like shit, but sorry, guys.
We're set up with ATHS direct to your video display.
I've got a display of your tail that is just mind-boggling.
Think of us scouts as extensions of your own sight in the air.
I think I like that. You only have eyes for me.
So you can nail it from cover without ever being seen.
I'd love to nail it.
Jake, where are you?
I remember you like me on top.
Jake, you've still got your brains in your cockpit.
That's because it's easier to fly that way, honey. Loaded and ready to fire.
Jake, we've both been there before when those guns just didn't go off.
Don't worry about that, baby.
Jake, let's get hold of ourselves.
I've got a hold of myself.
Patter stats. Fine then. I get the classic cook 'em, clean 'em, bake 'em, broil 'em. Bye-bye!
Shoot him! blast them, nab them, grab them, shake them, bake them, cook them, clean them, hose them, boil them, kick them, nab them, twist them, fry them, all gone, bye-bye!
Yeah, those were the two moments that I was choosing between.
Yeah.
Was Nick Cage a good actor?
I should have picked the "You want any gum" scene.
I'll throw that in there.
You want any strawberry gum? Hey, do you want any strawberry gum? What about you, Kat? Do you want any strawberry gum? I got strawberry gum. It's like, yeah, Nick, you got strawberry gum.
Want some strawberry gum, Breaker?
Oh, no thanks.
Little? How about you? Strawberry gum?
No.
It's delicious.
Well, I might as well just ask you this question first every time, because we know you're going to say no every time. Was Nick Cage a good actor?
He was terrible in this movie. I hated this movie. I did
He
not
was
like
bad
him in this movie.
He was
I
bad.
thought that he was a wooden, stick.
He was bad. I'm not giving
bad.
No. You know what I start to think of? I just think back to, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. I think I like that movie more now that I'm, watching all these other shitty movies.
It's starting to raise up a little just for
It
comparison.
is.
Okay.
I can't believe it's so low. The reason it's so low is because of the comic book nerds.
I guess. But, if I had to reorder these movies, should there be a point in time in which we reorder these movies, for the sake of our fans?
We'll go through our ratings. Oh, we should start keeping track of our ratings, and at the end we can sort them, and we can run through what
or should we just kind of do it periodically?
Periodically, every 10
to
movies.
help our fans out.
Every 10 movies.
Yeah.
So we're already at number 13 now. So
do we?
we'll have to...
We got a little time on this one. We can do it if you pull them up.
I'm not prepared. Nah. Well, we could just pause the recording and do it.
Or we could just save it for next time.
Yeah, let's just save it. What are you gonna give this one on IMDb?
2.
Really?
Yep. This movie was terrible quality. And it fails at what it was trying to be, which was a Top Gun ripoff. It doesn't even get to any semblance of Top Gun.
I was questioning a 3 or a 4, but I'm going with a 3.
Okay.
Just due to the dialogue and the cinematography, this deserves. The thing is, I can't give it a 2. I think it's better than the movies I've given a 2 to, so I'm giving it a 3.
It's on brand.
The next film.
The next film.
The Runner.
The Runner.
2015.
Castle period film.
Is it? Because
Probably.
It's a political drama about the BP oil spill.
Then it's a Castle period film.
It is a 4.7, and guess what, people? After this, we're in the 5s.
We take a leap of faith.
4.7 to 5s.
I want to give a special shout out right at the end here to
Tokyo?
Not
What, Tokyo, reach out to us, man. I want to know who you are.
or woman.
I didn't say man.
You said man.
It's kind of like, hey, you guys. Come on, man.
Anyway.
Come on, Nick Cage called everyone man in Deadfall.
I get it. No, I want to give a special shout out to one of our newest and truest and bluest super fans, Alyssa, who, as I understand it this weekend,
She's
gone
knocking them
through,
out.
binged all of her Netflix shows, and then started to listen to our podcast and then watch the films after she'd listened. I don't know if it's after she listened or before she listened, but basically
It's
sent
after
us,
because her Snapchats are showing the parts that we like in the Deadfall where the strip club scene. Yeah.
So she went
It's
through
after, I
Left
think.
Behind and Deadfall. So she's basically watching. Now here's the thing: people might ask us, and people have asked me personally, or told me just straight up that they're going to watch this movie, or they've asked me should I watch these movies?
No.
We watch
For
these
Deadfall,
movies.
watch the YouTube video.
Yes. Brian and I watch these movies so that you do not have to. If we find a movie that we feel like you should watch, we'll let you know. But up
Mom
until
and
this
Dad.
point, I don't even think I don't think I could lovingly recommend Mom and Dad to anybody that I care about.
If you want, or if you, my Aunt Shelly would love Mom and Dad. I feel like she likes Halloween and stuff. So like maybe she would like that.
She likes she likes the concept of Halloween, or she likes the movie Halloween.
She likes Halloween.
Okay.
So maybe she would like Mom and Dad.
She likes the general idea of being spooked.
Yeah.
Okay. So
The only thing,
I can't say that I would recommend any movie that we've seen except for, again, maybe Ghost Rider. Because it's harmless.
I was going to say the only thing to watch is the YouTube video of Deadfall with Nick Cage.
Sure.
And I would argue watch the half-hour version. Because you get more lines, and I think every scene with him is gold in it. So, anyway, you want to tell people about us?
Yeah, so, Tokyo, if you're out there.
Reach out to us. Come on.
And we know you are.
Just reach out to us, man.
Yeah, just
woman.
Kick us a little. If you have social media, you clearly have
Instagram
podcasts.
or Twitter.
Or leave a review. Okay, so on Instagram, if you have Instagram, you can find us at We Gauge Cage Pod. On Twitter, We Gauge Cage Pod. Just kick us a tweet, kick us an Instagram. We'll read it. We don't have to read it out on the podcast if you don't want, but we'll read it and it'll make us feel good about ourselves, and then we'll talk about how good we feel.
You don't think that it's been a different person every time? I mean, it's possible. Tokyo is the biggest city in the world, but come on, this has got to be one person.
I'm
right?
also going to shout out to Sweden because I know Sweden's been tuning in lately. So if I knew
I want
how
that
to
southern
say
hemisphere so bad.
Good
though.
luck
I
with
want
your
it.
balls in Sweden, I would. And if
In
Brian
Sweden?
stalls enough, then maybe I'll find it. But anyway, and then on iTunes, if you could rate us.
We have 9 ratings, guys. Keep it going, man.
Yeah.
It moves us up charts. It gets us more visibility. I mean, keep it going. You guys are awesome. And if you have anything, any suggestions for us, we're still kind of young, so let us know. But otherwise, I don't know what else to say.
We're just 2 guys.
We're just 2 guys. We're not 5 guys. We're 2 guys.
Ooh.
Do you want me to keep stalling?
Like it till meet Dina Buller.
Oh boy, is that? Are you going like Swedish chef? Is that like where that accent's coming from?
Like it till meet Dina Buller. Wait.
Is that where that accent's coming from?
Let me
Swedish
listen.
chef?
Let me listen to it. Oh wow.
Say it again.
Lycka till med dina bollar.
Lycka till med
Yeah,
dina
like what was that
bollar.
accent you were throwing on there?
Lycka till med dina bollar.
What?
That's how she pronounced it.
I'm bad with accents, but that's
Lycka
just
till
terrible.
med dina bollar.
Bolla.
Lycka till med dina bollar.
Nicotine in a bowl, bollar.
Lycka till med dina bollar.
Nicotine, my dear bollar.
Yup. Good luck with your balls,
Anyway,
everybody.
good luck with your balls, everyone. Bye.
Bye.